On this episode of Comic Book Storytellers, I talk to writers and artists about their first wow moment. Because after all, these guys are working in comics for a living. They're writing stories about Spider-Man, Batman, and Superman, and even their own characters. It's pretty cool. So, I hope you like it.
A wow moment? Well, that's a good question.
Wow. First or best?
Getting the first check for artwork, that was a wow moment.
Well, the first wow moment was the first time I ever saw my name in print in a comic. And I still get a kick out of that. The first time I saw, artist George Perez, I said, oh my God, that was a thrill.
Opening the box, and there's a big stack of books with my name on it. And that was a huge accomplishment for me, big goal, just to see my name on a comic book.
My very first comic book I ever did, the fact that it actually came out and was a kind of a hit right off the bat. Like, I never expected that, I never thought that.
Probably my first sale, I couldn't believe anybody was going to actually really do it. You hope for it. Actually, you hope for a hit, right? And Mr. Beat ended up being a hit.
And right off the bat, Gen 13 took off, and people were like, following my every move on this book where I'm basically learning how to ride a bike without the training wheels. I mean, that's basically what I was trying to do at that point. So my style was drastically evolving very quickly in a very public way, but that was a big wow moment, the fact that Gen 13 connected, even though I felt I hadn't even begun to learn what I was doing.
I was amazed by how many coffee mugs and t-shirts and everything this little coffee beatnik guy was selling. And he's my Mickey Mouse. That's my wow moment.
I can't say there was anything I ever stand back and go, that was really great, or I had a really good time doing that. I don't think I've ever really had a wow moment.
That's easy. The first wow moment for me was being escorted into the DC library, where there are bound volumes of every comic book DC has ever published. And as a lifelong DC reader and collector, I will never forget walking in that room and almost passing out. I mean, literally almost passing out.
Getting the opportunity to draw Batman, I think I was literally woo-hooing for 2 days once I got that assignment.
And I'm talking about a giant room the size of a 5-car garage full of comics. That was the big moment.
That would have had to have been one of the larger paychecks I got, and also meeting and going up to Neil Adams' studio.
Working with or getting feedback from the people that I admired when I was a kid, the comic books that I read when I was a kid.
Meeting Jim Shooter, obviously.
Meeting Frank Miller in San Diego, that was a wow moment.
I think my best wow moment may have been the last time I was at Pittsburgh Comic-Con. I bought a ticket to get an autograph from Stan Lee.
Well, here at the con, I like meeting the old timers, the old Joe Sano. Last year, Herb Trimpe was here. Just talking to them, seeing that they're actually real people.
Knowing that John Romita Sr. was aware of my work and liked it and would refer people to me. When we were working on the Marvel Style Guide at one point in the 80s, he didn't have the time to do all the style guides, so he said, call Ron Frenz. And that meant the world to me.
I remember specifically coming home on the bus from art school. We were getting ready to graduate, and there was a note on my, I think my parents had left, that Malibu Comics had called. They liked my samples and wanted to know if I wanted to do work for them. And I was like, oh my God, my first comic book job.
My best experiences have been getting started at Top Cow and Aspen, being part of that family. I would never trade that experience for anything. I never went to college, so that was college for me.
I don't know, I got a kick out of working for Marvel, my first Marvel job, because, we all grew up reading that stuff. Spider-Man Kid, Fantastic Four freak. So that was a real thrill for me.
I remember at one time when I was working and get the paychecks, there used to be a limit on the Marvel paychecks where they said, not good for over $1,500 because then you'd have to get a second check. And I look forward to the day that I got that second check, because now I was earning more than $1,500 on one assignment at a time. And when I first got that, I said, yes, that was an aha moment too. And doing it in front of Gil Kane, who was wondering what the heck I was making such a fuss about.
And I lived in this tiny town in England since growing up. And the first time a script arrived, this was pre-internet and pre-fax days. Certainly I didn't have a fax. So a giant FedEx truck, this 18-wheeler, rolled into town, and I could hear it coming from about a mile away. The whole room is shaking. Just a little mining town, really. And they delivered a FedEx envelope with the script inside, with Keith Giffen's layouts for an issue of Justice League. And that's when I figured, wow, this is incredible. This is really happening.
It's really nice to come to conventions and still sign Untold Tales of Spider-Man comics when we were only around for 2 years, and that was 15 years ago now. So to be a part of something that meant so much to a lot of people was really great. I mean, that's kind of the fun thing about working in comics, is connecting with people that like what you do.
Anytime I slow down to think about it, it's a wow moment.
Well, that was another episode. I hope you liked it. If you get a chance, let us know what you think. And if you did like it, please share. More to come.